Hey everybody, welcome into Warp Factor 10, our show about all things Star Trek here on the Arena Productions. I'm your host Expat, and my other co-host Burley will be back for our next episode. So want to apologize to all of you out there. I had some real life issue stuff to take care of, so I'm uploading this a little bit late. But the next episode of Star Trek Picard Season 3 will go up at its regularly scheduled time this coming week. So anyway, I just want to let all of you know that this is a spoiler-filled episode of Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 5, Imposters. So if you have not seen the episode, please go and check it out over on Paramount Plus, and then come back and enjoy this episode, because I will be throwing out a lot of spoilers throughout this recap, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we? So here is the first image. Actually, before I do that, I just want to let all of you know that, if you enjoy any of the content here on the Arena Productions, and if you enjoy this episode, please be sure to hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell so you can be notified when we drop a new episode here of Warp Factor 10, as well as all of our other content here on the Arena Productions. Okay? So anyway, first part of the episode, Jack, he has, of course, he has these visions of doing, harm to crew members, actually killing crew members. So we see him killing people on the bridge, but he's just, envisioning, he's dreaming about this, I guess, it's like he's doing these acts, and then it's like he opens his eyes again, and he's like in his room. So that's that's a little bit, we still don't know what really is going on there. We'll talk about that later in the episode, but now I want to get to the first image here with, of course, Riker giving command of the Titan back to Captain Shaw. And I just love Captain Shaw. I mean, he's really, really growing on me in this season of Picard, and I just love how as soon as the commands were given, and the computer transferred all of the controls back to Captain Shaw, he's like, I've already contacted Starfleet, they're on their way. And then he turns to Seven and he's like, how do you want to take it? Instated, reinstated, or not instated? And she's like, reinstated. And I love how he's like, you have been reinstated, kind of like the knighting, It's so funny. And then he's like, I'll leave you guys in here to get your shit in order. And so then he takes off. I just love that. I mean, his personality is really cool, and I'm really getting to like him a lot as a new character here in Star Trek. I would love to see a spin-off series with him in it in some way, shape, or form. But yeah. So anyway, we move on, and obviously we get the big surprise, the character from the Next Generation that, I was really excited to see. Of course, Michelle Forbes playing Ro Laren. Again, now she is a commander and obviously in intelligence. And I really love this. And it actually got me to go back and watch season 7 of The Next Generation, where basically she leaves Starfleet and joins the Maquis, because that is brought up a lot in this episode with Picard and Ro going back and forth with each other. But anyway, she is interrogating him. And it's interesting how he notices that she's not wearing her family earring, which, of course, in the Next Generation series, he allows her to wear, of course. And we're going to find out later why she's, not wearing it. But I'm going to go back here and this interrogation. But before that, I just want to show this image and, just the makeup. Of course, on the right image is, of course, Michelle Forbes about 30 years ago in The Next Generation. You see the Bajoran, the bridge of the nose there for Bajorans. She doesn't have that top part in the left image from the current season of Picard, which is a little bit interesting. But I mean, most people are probably going to look over that anyway. But I mean, I just thought that was a little bit interesting. So how they changed the makeup part of the Bajoran nose look. But anyway, they go to the holodeck, and she, of course, locks the holodeck up, and they have this just an intense conversation, about the past and all, and basically, Picard telling her, "You broke my heart," and and then of course Ro saying to him, "You broke mine," as well. But they were able to come to terms that, of course, at least we are who we say we are, and so then the bills or everything, the beans were spilled about what's going on, and that Ro is basically the handler of Worf and Raffi, and basically, her telling Picard that Starfleet has been compromised, even at the highest levels. And we go on basically, and we find out in this episode, and I love Sydney LaForge here. I mean, she's an amazing actress, and I just love how at the beginning here she's looking at her, the changeling that was shot by Seven in the previous episode, and she's like, we have to. And Beverly Crusher is like, okay, we have to, you have to confirm that. This changeling looked like you and all, and she just turns around, and Sydney just she just throws up on the floor there. I thought that was so funny. But anyway, what we find out is now that basically the changelings now can mask their DNA and the blood, so they can get through like the scanners that were set up after the Dominion War. And so basically it's almost impossible to find out whether or not they're a changeling or not. They are so much like a human now, or whatever, a race of being that they're transforming into, that it's that they've evolved to a certain point. And it'll be interesting to find out later how they were able to do this. And I think we're going to talk about this more later in the episode. I think it goes back to Jack. So anyway, so they found this out, and of course Crusher sends the message to Picard as she's being interrogated by Ro, and then of course he looks it up on the computer there, and she gives him the message that they can get through the scanners. Their blood cannot be traceable. So yeah. So anyway, we'll get back to that situation, but now I want to get to Worf and Raffi. Of course, Worf and Raffi are trying to get in touch with Ro, but we still don't, exactly know that it's Ro at this point yet. And they want to get to Daystrom, and they're just being denied and all. And so now basically Worf is trying to figure out, okay, there's got to be another person. We took out Sneed, so there's got to be another person that we can get in contact with to get more information about the Metalis Prime attack and what's going to be going on after that. And so basically he finds this Vulcan criminal called Kryn. And I'm going to show the image of him here with Worf. And they get to him, and it's like he makes Worf and Raffi, duel each other. And I kind of thought that was weird, but of course Raffi stabs Worf, and then Worf goes down. You think Worf is dead, but no, he's not. He actually takes out Kryn's henchmen, or his bodyguards, or whatever you want to call them. And then of course Worf is like bleeding out, but still he's like, let's speed up the interrogation process here. I thought that was really cool. So anyway, Kryn tells him and Raffi about Daystrom, and about how it's almost impossible to get through the security system there and everything. But he's got he's got the technology, the information chip or whatever, that's going to help them. And so he to give it to them, it's like, that would be logical. So yeah, of course he's going to do that or else. So so the two operatives that Ro talks about on the ground, and they're very close to figuring out what's going on, are obviously Worf and Raffi that she was referring to. And so then we get back here. I want to get back to this picture of Ro from Next Generation with the earring here, because obviously, as she's leaving, Ro is leaving. They have a sentimental moment, between her and Picard, and she gives Picard her earring, and says that she wishes that Picard could have seen seen her, in her heart for what she truly was believing and felt and all, and then she takes off with the two security officers there, and it's interesting. We're gonna see here in a second what that earring truly was. But anyway, so as we move on, of course, we get the shapeshifters, obviously the security guards. Of course, they transform into other personnel, and then they run into Jack, and obviously Jack, he is. I don't know. I mean, is there something controlling Jack, or is Jack something else? That's what we haven't found out yet, and we're waiting to see. And I'm really interested to see what's going on, because if he's been taken over by some type of entity that the changelings are after, boy, oh boy, this entity must be, just much stronger, because, Jack, as this entity, I guess, just takes out 4 of the changelings, just like it was just a cakewalk. Just completely takes them out and just phasers them down. And then obviously later on, of course, he's in there in the medical bay with Crusher and with Captain Shaw and the chief medical officer, and Shaw's like, nice shooting, kid, for like 4. And then as they leave, Crusher's like asking, how did you know that they were changelings? And then of course, Jack is like, I didn't. And then he tells his mom there that, I think something is really, really wrong with me. And yeah, obviously there is something really, really wrong with him, whether it's something that's taking him over, or he is someone else that is just posing as a Jack Crusher. I don't know. We shall see as the season goes on. But anyway, I want to get to the point here. Of course, Ro, she's on the shuttlecraft, and obviously it is sabotaged by the 2 security officers who are changelings, and they of course put a bomb on the shuttle, and they beam off, and of course beam back to the Titan to try to get Jack. But as they do that, and a lot of the Titan crew had been, due to Ro's order, had been transferred over to the Intrepid, where she came from. So basically now the Titan only has a skeleton crew. But in the shuttle, you have the sentimental last moment, between her and Picard is like, I see you, forgive me for this taking so long until now to realize. And she, of course, slams the shuttlecraft into the port nacelle, and it blows up, and there goes Commander Ro. But it was amazing to see Michelle Forbes and have her in this episode. It was a real surprise, and it was really, really good to see her again, even though it was only for the 1 episode. But then we move on, obviously, towards the end of the episode here. Of course, now the Intrepid is about to fire on the Titan to retaliate, and obviously, Riker tells Shaw, "Don't you get it? It's like now they're going to frame us because, basically the Intrepid has been taken over by the Changelings, and so they warp out just before the Intrepid is to hit them with photon torpedoes." And then they're just like, they're going to be coming after us, like all of them. And basically that's where the episode ends. Yeah, a lot of questions. And the thing is that we still haven't gotten Geordi yet. We still haven't gotten, except for like video of Counselor Troy, and we haven't gotten Data as lore yet, but that is coming later on. But it's going to be interesting. My biggest question is, what is inside Jack, or what is Jack? And why are the changelings after him so much now? It'll be interesting to see. But he basically in this episode showed that whatever he is, or whatever is inside of him, is super powerful. So, and it's something that the changelings definitely need. And then, of course, the Daystrom Institute. Obviously, we got Worf on the video screen chatting a little bit with Picard and Riker for a second or two there. I thought that was really cool. So probably in the next episode, Worf and Raffi are going to show up on the Titan and meet with Picard and Riker. And of course, probably we'll get Geordi in the next episode, because his daughter, Mika Burton, of course, on Twitter, she was mentioning that, the next episode, you're going to be seeing me in that episode. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to the rest of the season. So it's getting really interesting now. And what happens for this, the fleet, how compromised it really is. So we shall see. So anyway, I've been your host, Expat, and also we have a Patreon, of course, with all of our content here on the Arena Productions that's ad-free over there on Patreon, as well as exclusive content. So please think about checking out our Patreon and helping support our content over there. So please go and check us out over on Patreon. And of course, our next episode of Warp Factor 10 and of Picard Season 3, Episode 6 will be coming out later this week, and it's regularly scheduled time of recording and posting here on the Arena Productions. So anyway, take care, and we hope you enjoyed the episode, and let us know in the comments what you thought of Episode 5. So until the next episode, I've been your host, Expat. Take care. Peace out, and live long and prosper.